Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video we are going to be talking about flower prices, getting down to the nitty gritty. I have had a few questions on the socials asking how I price flowers and what's the best way for you to price flowers, and that is not a simple question because every individual florist is different. So in today's video I'm going to explain how to price flowers if you're not VAT registered, and then at the end of the video I will then explain what to do if you are VAT registered. But if you're a beginner, you're not going to be VAT registered at first because you've got to have a certain amount of turnover to then be VAT registered. So I've got a selection of flowers here. I've got some flowers and foliage and add-ons, things that are being modernised, so we can go through it all really. So I've had a few questions recently asking me like how I price my flowers and what's the best way, and that is not a simple question because every individual florist is different. Now, in the UK, the most popular markup is to times your flowers by 3. Okay, so that includes all your profit basically, and if you've got any overheads or staff. I know that a lot of florists are sort of home based, so they don't really have to worry about that, which is a bonus really, but still we need to make profits to make our business run and keep it sustainable. So I'm going to try and explain this in the most simple way for you. So let's start off with this rose. Now, with roses, they come in different prices depending on the stem length. So if you're at your wholesalers and you see that one white rose is cheaper than the other, it is most likely because the stem length is shorter. And if the stem length is shorter, say 40 centimetres, the head isn't going to be big. They're going to be quite dainty and a bit like supermarket vibes. So I do recommend getting 60 to 70 centimetres to make your bouquets look more big and luxurious. So on average, the rose would cost me with the VAT on, because flowers, when you get them, you will get the price of it without the VAT, and then when you go to buy it they then put the VAT onto that, but that is just buying, it's not selling. We're not talking about selling with the VAT on. Okay, so this rose will cost me £1. So we've got a 3 times markup, which basically just means that you have to times that by 3. So £1 I bought that rose for, so I'll times it by 3, so then I will sell this rose for £3. Okay, then we have got our hydrangeas. Hydrangeas normally come in about 50 to 60 centimetres and they are around £2.50 to buy. So then we have to times that by 3, so that is £7.50 per stem. And it is worth it because they're big and they make the bouquet look more bigger and fluffy as well. Okay, so then we will go on to things that have been modernised. So this is a dried palm spear, and I buy these for about £2.50 per stem, but that's without it being modernised. So it will be £7.50 for just the dried palm spear, but I have sprayed it gold and I've put a pattern on there as well. So I'm going to add another £1.50. So this will be £9 per stem, but this is a big palm spear. You can get the smaller ones, so they'll be a bit cheaper, and then you can do your markup on that. Then we have our leather leaf. Leather leaf comes in on average really about 20 stems. You can get them in 15 packs, but I normally get them in 20 packs. They cost me £5. Okay, so then we have to basically divide the 20 stems by the £5 that we spent on buying them. So that's 40 pence a stem. Now with foliage, I times my foliage by 2. Otherwise your bouquets are going to be ultra expensive. So that's why I like to spray them gold as well, so it looks more of the part of the flowers as well and adds that bit of luxury to it. So this will be, so it's 40p to buy per stem, so this will be 80p per piece. Then I added the gold, so I'm going to add another 20 pence on. So these are going to be £1 per stem that I will sell these to my customer at retail. Okay, then we have some gypsophila. So gypsophila is normally, they're about 68p per stem. So let's just say 70p. So it will be £2.20. Don't quote me on that. So it will be £2.20 to sell this one stem of gyp. Then we have, now this is where it gets a bit confusing, because say I bought these dried sort of pink grevillea. I bought these in 2 packs of 10 stems, so there was 20 and they're 85p per stem. So we just have to figure out what 85p times 3 is, and then you sell them at that price. Okay, foliage as well. This foliage was about 70p per stem, so about £2.30. I think I said that one was, yeah, so the gyp was £2.30, this will be £2.30. I've got to add it all up in my head, haven't I? Okay, so then we've got some pampas. These normally cost about £2.50 per stem as well, £2.50, so £6 to £7.50 you will be retailing the pampas at. Then we've got some sort of odd things that I get from like Amazon and stuff. So this would cost me about 50p. I just do a 2 times markup on things like this because it's not a fresh flower. So yeah, so that I would do that for about £1, £1.20. And then if you want to add things into your bouquet, say I have got add-ons on my website where you can add bunny tails, and it's about £2.50 to add the bunny tails in. And I'd usually use 8 stems of that. So you really have to think about that, because in a bunch of like bunny tails, let me see if I've got a bunch here. You never actually know how much you're going to get in a packet, and I'm sorry, but who the hell's going to count how many stems I've actually got? So these were £8.50, that's without the VAT, so you add the VAT on, and then basically you need to make sure that that's got a 2 times markup and you're going to make the profit. So whatever works for you. I charge £2.50 for 8. That's the most confusing part, but you know you're going to make a profit on that. Feathers, I usually do 4 of these for £3.50. So it's a nice markup on them actually. And then again with these dried ruscus, you just need to figure out how much they are per stem, times it by 3. Now in the UK, I bet you US are thinking, but what about time? Do you not charge labour? No, it's all in the 3 times markup, because we know we're going to be making a profit if you do it by 3, because some florists do it by 2, and if you do it by 2, it's a lot cheaper and your margin is going to be down because of waste and so on and so forth, because there is a lot of waste in floristry, and florists' average margin of profit is 50 to 70%, and you don't really want to be falling anywhere under the 50%. Okay, so that is our bouquet done. Then we will move on to sundries. So basically these bags, there's 10 in them, they cost like £6. So I don't do anything with those really, but you can do, just work out how much your bag is and then times it by 2, because sundries only do a 2 times markup as well. And then for your cellophane, which I'll just grab and show you. Oh, so also the cellophane, these cost about £15 per roll and they are really, really expensive. So what I do, just to save all the time and grief of adding every single thing up, I just charge £5 flat rate for the cellophane and the bag, and then you know you're going to make a profit on that and not be losing. Don't give anything away for free, okay? Because you don't know how much in a year that's going to add up and affect your margin essentially. So now we've got to the nitty gritty of that. Other questions are, what about funerals and weddings? Because this is a gift bouquet. I use the same principle, absolutely fine. The reason that weddings are more expensive is because we order in more expensive products. So like these are just normal roses. So in weddings we'll use garden roses or Ecuadorian roses that can be twice as expensive as those, because you don't want your wedding looking tacky. So that's why weddings are so expensive, but we use the same margin. Well, I do. Some people might do 4 times markup, because it's a wedding, there's a lot more work, a lot more stress, a lot more communication with the bride. It could last a year or 2 with the communication. So I don't blame people who do a 4 times markup, because there is a lot more work in that. But I just stick to the 3 times markup. Every single fresh flower, every single stem you buy, add the VAT onto it and then times it by 3 or your markup that you want to do. Okay, simple as. So sundries I times by 2, fresh flowers I times by 3. Now, if you are VAT registered, you then need to add 20% in the UK onto the price that you have added your bouquet up to be, or your single stem. So a rose like this is going to be £3 per stem. You need to work out what 20% of that is, and then you need to add it to the rose. So I think that's 60p, isn't it? That's 60. So this rose will be, you'd have to sell this for £3.60 instead of just the £3. But this is where florists get flustered, because when they do hit the VAT bracket, well, they have to be VAT registered in the UK. Obviously, it's different anywhere else. Their flower prices are up and they think, oh my God, I'm more expensive than everybody else. But make sure that you keep your style, you are the best, and make sure that they are the best, so you can compete against other florists that aren't VAT registered. Never ever devalue your work because you're VAT registered. It's absolutely fine. And then also when you do your tax returns, you get that VAT back on the sales anyway. So it's all good. But yeah, I'm just thinking about any other costing that we need to go through. But they are all the basics, and I'm really, really hope that we've got to the nitty gritty of that. It is quite simple when you use it on a calculator. It's time consuming, but once you get used to buying all your stock in, you know in the back of your head how much stuff costs, and you don't have to write things down and times it by your markup and so on and so forth. You just know, you just know. So yeah, if there's any other questions or anything you need to ask regarding prices, which hopefully I have gone through enough. I'm just trying to think of any other thing that I would have to cost, but I think that's all good. So just remember, sundries, I do it times 2, flowers times 3. So yeah. I hope that was super helpful for you guys. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe so we can do more helpful videos and tutorials like this one, and we'll see you in the next one.